Guys, we are live on a Saturday afternoon, not a Saturday morning. I slept in this morning, so that's why I did it a little bit later. So yesterday we had a workshop on starting the very first steps of creating a sports fantasy game app. And we went through and we designed the database for it, which you can see here. In fact, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. So this is the ERD diagram that we came up with, and we went over to SharePoint, and what we did over here is we created all these tables in SharePoint. Then we went into Power Apps, and what I wanted to do is I didn't want to use a template, so we actually created one from scratch. And what we created, might I say, is beautiful. Now I'm using a lot of the new Microsoft modern controls, using responsive containers. The only thing that I put in here that's not out of the box is this menu component that I have here. And I didn't want the workshop to be all about creating a menu because that could have taken up a good portion of the workshop. So I just imported that from my my Jumpstart kit. Okay, so what we have here is what we would call a CRUD screen, C-R-U-D. So you got C is for create, R is for read, U is for update, and D is for delete. Those are the four operations that you can do with a record within a database. Okay. Or should I say the four basic operations? There's all kinds of things that you can do, especially with SQL Server. But so anyway, what I wanted this live stream to be about is to progress any type of project that we're using as a template and building some features in that we're going to need in this app that we built. Now, my accelerator student who asked for me to build or show him how to build a sports fantasy app, he's actually on vacation right now. In fact, Jad, if you're watching this in your car, hopefully you're not driving and watching, but yeah, go back and watch the workshop, and then we're going to be delving more into this next week with him. Because, guys, I'm not a sports guy. I don't know that I completely understand. I need to understand the requirements thoroughly. I don't understand. I, I'm really different, right? So I guess there are people that aren't into sports like I am, and I don't understand this fantasy thing. Like you're picking these people, and they don't have to be on the same team, and you create your own league, and they play against other people's players. It's really confusing to me. So without Jad, I thought I'd put this project on the back burner, but something that will help this project along and will help out all you guys in the process is we talk about features that we would want to have in a template. Okay, now this template right here, I'm going to make available in school so you guys can download and use it as it is right now. Okay. And then you see I have all the data sources in here. Now, check this out, guys. There's a little, you know what? I need to make myself smaller, don't I? There we go. And let's see here. If you know what, I'm going to hide the chat overlay there. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, and here in a few minutes, I want everybody to get all my free stuff. I had that on a ticker down below. I'm going to remove that here in a few minutes. I just want everybody to be aware of it and be able to type it in a URL and to get to it. If you guys aren't able to get to my free crash course, let me know in the comments or send me an email at support@superpowerlabs.co.com. All right, so what I want to do is I want to open up the template that I've been working on. And as I'm doing that, what I need to do is go over to the template group that I'm running. Now, this started off as $1 a month. And now that we're making a lot of progress on this template, it has slowly gone up. And so now it's at $25 a month. And if you get in now, that's the only price you'll ever pay. But guys, as we build out this template and it's got tons and tons of features, and we start writing specific apps, you guys could take those apps download them and sell them to someone, you know, probably customize them for your clients. So if you ever plan on doing freelancing work, this is going to be invaluable, in my opinion. There's no contract you can cancel anytime. All right. So let's see. So we're meeting on Mondays, 4 p.m. EST, and I go all the way till 6:30 p.m. EST. So that's 2.5 hours that we're making progress on this, and sometimes on the Saturday morning live streams, or in this case, Saturday afternoon. Full feature list for the template. So let me show you all the features that we have in here. The next thing for us to do is dynamic theming. And I'm thinking about the best way of doing that. And we do have sample test data that we're going to add. I'm going to identify some features that won't take too much time. So I'd like to implement all the features that I can. Okay. Okay, this is a good one. Add screen for versioning information. List all the changes made to the template and for each change, including. Okay, I think I'm going to add that today. I think that's a great feature to add. So I'm going to grab that. Okay, so I'm going to go into, this is my sandbox. And here we go. This is the app that I want. We're on Microsoft time right now, waiting for this all to load up. I'll try to go full screen here. Okay, guys, I'm looking for any ideas or suggestions for small little features that we can put in right away. Okay, so this is the template that we're building in the template community. Okay, so this is screen 1. Okay, and we got all these other screens. What were we using these screens for? Oh, there's a lot of work to be done in color. Guys, I've gone down a rabbit hole where I'm looking at color theory. I'm looking at tons of style guides from large organizations. And I'm looking at Fluent UI. I'm looking at a lot of different things because I want to make something really great and something that I would want to use for every single project. In fact, what it should feel like when you use a template like this, you should feel like you got superpowers. That's my dream, at least. Okay. So that's what we have there. Now, I did copy something to the clipboard. I'm going to add a new screen, and let's add an HTML text. And we'll put that here. And then I'm going to add a text input. Now, I don't want the modern one just yet. I don't think it's quite ready for prime time. Because if you go up here into insert, you look at this. It says preview, guys. So that means it's not really ready for production. And when you stop seeing the preview, then you can start feeling good about it. Okay. And I know a lot of people are excited about the modern controls. I am too. I think they look great. But I find issues with them all the time. So now you may not think so with that other app. I'm trying to use modern controls whenever I can, but then whenever I come against I come across a limitation or something that I can't do with the modern that I know I can do with the classic, I'll usually rip the modern one out and put the classic back in. All right, I would like to see something like that. Okay, so inside this text input, I'm gonna have something like this. Okay, then I'm going to say txt versioning info. There we go. And then over here, what I want to use as the value is txt version info dot text. And I sort of want a screen that's split down the middle. So how should we do that, guys? We want one side to be here. Now we could just like size it up and use the TLAR method, that looks about right. Or I would recommend that you be very precise. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say parent dot width, subtract self dot width. Now, guys, do you have a place to store your code snippets? Snippets of code that you probably use just anywhere? I know I do. If you want to center something, okay, well, first of all, this width is off. I'm going to go to the width, and I'm going to say self, I'm sorry, parent dot width divided by 2. And then when I go over to the X, I should take the parent width minus self width and divide by 2. Now, I'm going to paste this in the chat so you guys have access to it. If you guys have, now I use, a lot of times I'll use sticky notes. So these are virtual sticky notes. And so I have them here on the side of my other monitor. So if you have a code snippet like this, in fact, sometimes I use Notepad++. It's really nice. It's a lot better than regular Notepad. And sometimes I like it better than VS Code. I think VS Code is, just with all those extensions, it's a little bit much. It's a little high maintenance for me. But it's a really good code editor though. So I'm going to add some code snippets here. So if you had this code snippet, you just paste it in there. Now we could write a fancy PowerFX formula, an app.formulas, that would take a parameter and do this. But you'd have to call it, and then you have to call in these things. And calling that code would be just about as simple as just doing this. You know what I mean? All right. So in the X, what this is going to do, it looks like, I don't think that I want to divide it by 2 in this case. If I wanted to start there, okay. Now the height of both of these, I'm going to say parent.height. Okay. Very good. Now for the width, I'm going to grab its width. So if you want something centered, not centered, if you want something to start at the half point, we're going to do that. Grab the so the width of this one will be the exact same width of the other one. So that will take us to the edge. So that is exactly the halfway mark. Now, I don't think we have, if I'm not mistaken, a border radius of an HTML control. And that's not a big deal. We could bring over one of those cool containers and use those for a drop shadow if you want. But, and they have rounded quarters too. That's what I was getting at. If I go over here and I look at border radius, I'm going to set that to 0 to be consistent with this one. Okay. Now I should consider this a code editor. Now it's not a very good code editor, but it's as best of a code editor that we can build inside of Power Apps. And I'm looking for the font, and I'm having a hard time finding it. I'm going to go with Semibold. And you know, if you don't find the property here right away, and you guys probably see it, it's like right there, Darren. Yeah, there it is. All right, so I say font dot courier new, and that is, I don't know that I like the Semibold. I'm just going to go with normal, and I'll make the font fairly large, like this. Okay, I'm going to go over here and change this to 17 to sort of match, and this is going to be a feature. Okay, so I'm going to say feature version history. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in a prefix of dev. I wonder if I could put a dash in there. That would probably look nice. There we go. See, we've got these other dev screens. So as you're working in the template, whenever you see dev, you know that users aren't going to see that. It's just for you. Okay. All right. Very good. And okay, so I'm going to put a border around this of 10. Very good. So something else that we could do, we could use a rich text editor to modify this. a lot of time a rich text editor will put a bunch of HTML in there that I don't like. So I'd almost rather just have the HTML here like this. All right, so I'm going to run this, and I don't like the hover color, so I'm going to take that out. Color dot white. I'm going to hit save and run. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's do a list, an unordered list. And I'm at least going to indent over 2 li. List of all the changes made to the template, and for each change, include I'm actually going to put that up here. Let's see how that looks. Take out those dots. So it's good about an app. This is something I really admire about Microsoft's templates, is that they have screens that document the app. I think that's great. I think it's really great. All right, so now I'm going to get rid of this ticker at the bottom. Let's see here if I can find it. Yeah, where did I put it? Captions, hide. There we go. Very good. Okay, the version number. Now, how are we going to do versioning? I like to do year, month, day. I like to use military time, hour. You could leave it at that. I mean, maybe a minute. Of course, we'll mess with second. And we'll probably put a little V whatever. And then the date timestamp. Okay. So why is this important, guys? So you can display a version number. Now, in this case, we're just going to display the version number that we've defined in the app formulas. Not an app on start. I would recommend getting away from app on start. Put as much as you can in the app formulas. And if you have some imperative code to have execute when the app loads up, I'd recommend that you have a loading screen at the top. And I wonder, do we have a loading screen here? Is screen 1 a loading screen? It is not. Okay, so that's something I want to create. Let me go ahead and do this so I don't forget about it. And I wish there was a way to move to top. Oh, that would be so nice. I think what I'd have to do if I had like 50 screens, and 50 screens is a lot for an app. Okay, I'm just going to say that right now. But if I had tons of screens, I wouldn't want to sit here for for 10 minutes and making sure it's all the way up. And I'm going to call this loading screen. Now, what we should do, if you want a particular screen to be the first screen that pops up, you can go to app, and then you're going to go to start screen. Just put it right there. Of course, because it has a space, which is actually a recommended best practice that you have spaces in your screen names for accessibility, screen readers. There it is. Okay, when this loads up, it will come here. And then what I do is I bring over a timer that I will hide from the user, which I will do here in a second. On the timer end, I'm going to have it check every second if it's done or not. And I'm going to say repeat and auto start and auto pause. Now, what are these things? So repeat, if you had that turned off, it would just go for 1 second and stop. And if you have it on, it's just going to repeat. Now, what's cool is we could put a Boolean variable here that will turn that off. Okay. Auto start, it activates, turns on this timer whenever the screen loads up. And when a different screen comes up, if the auto pause is on, it's gonna pause that timer. Now I'm gonna let you in on something. Nick Fury, are you from the Avengers by any chance? I would love to be able to drag it to the top. Absolutely, absolutely, would love that. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys in on something. I was in a project where they needed the data to be synchronized all the time. And I had timers that would do that, would go out and get the latest records because they needed the data synchronized across multiple concurrent users. And what I found was when I went to a different screen, even though I had auto pause, it was still running. So I had to put an additional if then else to make sure that the app.activescreen.name is the same as the name of the screen. Yeah. Let's see if I can. Oh, let me see. I'm trying to find the button that allows me to put this as an overlay. I see a lot of you guys are talking here. So there we go. Good morning from Utah. Good morning to you. But by doing this, it makes the screen smaller, and that doesn't look good. Let me see if I can put. Yeah. I'll just read them like I normally do. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so for this screen, what I'm going to do on the timer end, well, actually on the screen start, let's create a local variable whenever the screen loads up. And what we're going to say here is update where's my context? There we go. Update context. Inside, we got parentheses, we got curly braces, and inside this, we'll say LOC. It's going to be a local variable. LOC loading up, and that's going to be set to true. And I'm going to copy this. And at the bottom, we'll change this to false. Now, what you want to have in a loading screen like this is any type of database stuff that you want to have happen, any type of imperative code that you want to have happen at the beginning of your app loading up. You should put it here. All your code to get data here. And then what we'll say here, we'll take this local variable. It's a Boolean, yes, no, true, false. And for this timer, I'm going to say repeat. I'm just going to use that variable there. Isn't that nifty? I think it's nifty. So we got that. And then on the timer end, what should we do? We should go to the home screen. I guess this is the home screen. I don't have any home screens, so maybe I should do that here. Home screen. And then I'm going to click in there and copy that, go back to the loading screen, go in here, and on the timer end, we need to do an if statement. So if nope, that's not what I want. LOC loading up. If that is true, if the opposite is true, I'm going to say not, because I like a full word there, because it was somebody, a bang operator exclamation point it's a little slimmer than I am. And somebody look at your code or yourself, you might have a bug somewhere and you don't notice that bang. But if you use 3 characters, it's a little bit bigger and it's more noticeable. So that's why I like to do that. So if it's not loading up, then we'll do a navigate to our home screen. And then we don't need an else block. It's just going to continue to run and wait until it's done loading. Now, we might want to change this to 250 milliseconds. Maybe we don't want people sitting here waiting for up to a second waiting for the next screen to come in, right? All right, so this is going to be a screen in process. So what I'm going to do is I do not like the modern label at all. And the reason why I don't like the modern label is because you can't change the border, you can't change the fill. So the classic label is in my opinion, tons better. Eventually make this invisible. And let's make this a bit longer. And eventually we're going to have like a little animation here. That would be nice. Okay. So we've got that in there. And I'm going to go back. Okay. So now we've got some stuff to put in here. This is good stuff. All right. Add a screen for versioning information. And I'm just going to say, hey, it's this screen, which will list all of the changes made to this template. And for each change, include the following. Now, you might think as we're typing here, oh, this documentation is going to save. No, it's not going to save. So what we need to do is trying to think here. How do I normally do this? I take that. Yeah, this is what I do. So whenever I'm done modifying, I take this HTML and then I go into the default and I do a Control A, Control V. Okay. So now it's saved. So whenever I leave the screen, I definitely want to make sure that this is saved to the default. Now, eventually it'd be nice to put this into a data source, but here's the problem with having data sources in a template is like you create a bunch of SharePoint lists. Well, whoever's trying to use that template and you want them to use that the data sources, well, they're gonna have to create all those SharePoint lists. And if you don't document it or list those out somewhere, then they're just gonna have a bunch of errors all over the place. And then who would want to use a template like that, right? Okay, version number, date timestamp. And I'm going to copy this author. Helpful links regarding changes. Okay. Paste. Power Apps versioning information. Now you guys hopefully you guys didn't hear that. I got some toddlers and they're misbehaving right now, screaming and such. I'm curious if you guys heard that. That was very loud. And it was all the way across the house. Right. So I've got that in there. You may not know this, but if you go into data sources, now we've got this little data icon, but this is actually beyond data. You've got other connectors you can access. So if you go in here and you say Power Apps, and it looks like it expects a space in there. When Power Apps first came out, it didn't have a space between the Power and the app. So we've got Power Apps for admins, Power Apps for makers, Power Apps notifications. It looks like you'd want to use this one over this one. And I think we could get at the version history, not only of like this right here, like when we implemented the change, what was this authoring? It's called the authoring version. Okay, so let's change that. And then it's got its own version number that's built into Power Apps. So we could put that in there, All right, can you have container and inner object alignment oriented video put on brother? Okay, I need to understand this. Have a container and inner object alignment. Yeah, so that's actually, we covered that quite a bit yesterday in a workshop. Let me show you what we did. If you go to the tree view, and I'll open up this screen here, and what you need to do is Inner object alignment. Yeah, I did a lot of that. So can you tell me if you're talking about the responsive containers? So that's going to be a vertical, this is going to be a horizontal container, or you just talk about just a regular old container? And I actually do a lot of alignment and positioning type of examples in a lot of my videos. If you see me building an app, I'm eventually going to do that. So just hold on and we'll get there. All right, so I'm going to go back down to this screen. I'm in the wrong app. I'll bring that up. Now look how pretty that is. Okay. So now what we could do, could bring this up a little bit. And I wonder for the fill for this HTML, go over the fill. Okay. If now this is text versioning info. So I go over here and I say if the text is different than its default. Look, it's not going to allow me to get at the default. Look at that. Yeah. So I was trying to make it dynamic. I like have an alert like, hey, you've changed this, but I can do that in a different way. You know what? I wonder. I'm going to say color.white for now. Pretty good. Then over here, let's go to border color. I'm going to go with like a red. I'm going to paste that in there. Okay, so instead of referencing the text box, I'm going to say self. I'm going to say self.default. Nope, still won't allow it. You know what I could do? Oh, this is good. This is good. Just make a copy. Default value. Okay. Now let's fix this error here. Border color is going to be color.black. And then over here, self.text is other than that txt default value dot text. If that's different, then I want to say color dot red. Otherwise, color dot black. So if I were to go in here and type something, enter, blah, 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 blah. Look at that. It turned red. So that makes me feel like maybe we should have that to be a little more thicker there. I like it. Something else that we can do is we take this and instead of the fill, being white, we could do something like this. But red is a little too strong sometimes. So I'm going to say pink. Okay. Okay. Now we don't really need to see this all that much. I'm gonna put it down here for now until I figure out what I want to do with it. Okay, so it is different. Now watch this. If I take that out, it went black. Why? Oh, When I click on it, the pressed is black. Why? That's weird. Oh, okay, that makes sense now. So guys, I think this is a great way of documenting the app. Date, time, author. We might put in there name, email, website. Pretty much you want to be able to find the author if you've got a problem, like maybe you need some support. You need to be able to find somebody that understands if you need help, you know. Got the links regarding the changes. Okay. Now this thing sort of went off the screen a little bit there. That's a little concerning. I like it. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I am going to move both of these down, and I'm going to move this to the top. Nah, I'm just going to make it this width here. Move that to the top. I'll give that a border of 4. And I want to give this fill color something to make people believe, like, hey, you can't change this. In fact, I'm gonna say disabled, but I'm gonna give it a border of 4. Okay, I like it. Now, okay, it's going off and doing something weird there, and it's probably my code that's doing it. You know what? I'm gonna make sure that's on top, so the red overpowers the gray. And then on this one, I'm going to take the width, I'm going to put parentheses here, and then I'm going to subtract 4 so they're not on top of each other. In fact, on this one, for the Y, I'm going to say whatever that is, dot Y plus its height. Then I'm going to add 4. Okay. Then I'm going to take this and move this up a little bit. There we go. I like it. Picasso. All right. Now, I do need another code editor here, and I want to define the schema for such a thing. I'm going to take this, and for the Y, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it's Y plus that dot height plus 4. However, the height, what I need to do is I need to say parent dot height, and then I need to subtract self dot Y, and that should give us something perfect there. And I'm going to give this a different color. Yeah, I don't want that in there. I'm going to say color value, and I'm going to say pound sign F5, F5, F5. So it's a little, I like it. Okay. Now the background of this, now keep in mind, this is just for us to see, or any future developer that takes this on. So I'm not going for like UI UX type of stuff. I'm going directly for function over form in this case. And for this, I'm going to say color dot light yellow. Okay. Now what I want to do here is I want to take that out. And for the border here, use black. Ooh, I don't like that. What is going on? So for the X, I have a formula. Use that. And I'm going to put that in there. So I think I moved it. And whenever you move something with the drag and drop, the designer, you're going to mess up anything that you had for formulas for X and Y, depending upon how you drag it. But it's a little concerning. I'm going to put buttons in here. I'm going to make them big. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to save and run this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now it seems to be working. Okay. Let me go in here and say 8. And I'm going to do dashed just to see. Yeah, it's not actually cutting anything off. Maybe I was just thinking that it was. Yeah, I'm going to take that back down. All right. What I want to do in here is define this as JSON. Okay. So I'm going to do curly braces. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to say short description. I love coding this way for Power Apps because even when it's not bugging me with the pop-up IntelliSense and it's not giving me red squigglies. I love it. All right, so long description. Oh, love it. Okay, what are we going to do? Version. I'm going to say R version number. And I'm going to take that. Let's do a text on this. And we're going to say now with parentheses because it's a function. And I'm going to put a V there like that. Small change. So small, I almost didn't want to say so. And it's going to word wrap on me. I almost want more room to code. So let's for the and we'll just change the width. Now the width used to be set here. We could divide by 3 and then multiply by 2. I always like that. Let's do that. So we'll also get that, and for the width, all of them will be the same. And then for this one, I'm going to take this. For its width, I'm going to take the parent width minus the width of that guy. We should be good. Of course, I need to subtract 4. Okay. Almost didn't want to document it. What other type of information should we put in here, guys? I mean, we've got some stuff up here, but I want you guys to start thinking here. Who the author of it is. Now, that might be the same author over and over and over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say author. User. Dot full name. And then do something like this. User dot email. Now the stuff like the website, more information, maybe we should put that in app formulas. That's going to be the central place to put stuff like that. So I'm going to say in some of this will be in the app.formulas. Okay. Is it plural or singular? Anybody know? It's plural. Very good. So I said it right. All right. So we got the author in there. Helpful links regarding the changes. Okay, so we have that helpful links. Okay. So I want to put in there the authoring version. I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to go get that. Yeah, it's called authoring version. I'm going to copy that. Now you can change that. Boom. Now we got to remember, similar to this stuff up here, we need to, as we go along, we need to make sure we don't lose any of this. There we go. So there's in there. Okay, we have authoring. Now, what about the Power Apps version? I'm going to publish this. Then I'm going to bring open Power Apps and go find what that version is. There it is. I'm going to go to Details, Version. Power Apps really. Okay, so this has that information in there. Look at this, version 121. Okay. No. Okay, the Control Z does not change in this. It does not work here. So I'm going to take that out. One, two, one. So I'm just say 121. Okay. Now I want the three versions to be beside each other. So I'm going to put that in there. And so we have these three things. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do, I'll put comments in my code. We should all be doing that, right? Now, version info. Now I'm going to knock down the font of this. It's a little too big because I want to see more code at once. Now, So what I want to do in this template is lead the way for any other developer using this template. Lead them, sorry, lead them in the path of actually creating a data source, I want to say sustainable, but that's not the right word. A persistent data source, like a database. There's a difference between storing stuff in let's say variables and in RAM as opposed to a physical disk or a virtual disk. Oh, okay. For some reason, Copilot just popped up on my other screen. I think it's getting jealous. I'm doing all this alone. All right, guys. Um, so what I'm gonna put in here, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna say create a data source table with the following fields. I'm gonna say ASIP because if we're just gonna keep it all here, it's nobody's gonna want to come in here and edit it and do the copy and paste and whatever. We want it in a data source. Okay. So what I am gonna do, is there any other information we want to store here, guys? Because I like to do everything in one shot and not come back and forth, back and forth. Short description, long description, author. Now, what I could say, I want to keep the descriptions by themselves. Reason for change. And you guys know me. I like my code to line up. Now I don't know that I can do that here with tabs at least. Okay, that is all. I'm gonna eyeball it. Okay. Reason for the change. And what I would say is bug fix. New feature. Minor tweak. What are the things that we could put in here? Aesthetics. I have a hard time pronouncing that for some reason. I need to make sure I spelled it right. Yeah, I did not spell it right. Aesthetics. A set of principles concerned with the nature and appreciation of beauty, especially in art. Okay. I got that right? AE. Yeah. Why did I put, yeah, I guess there's a TH in there. Okay. Aesthetics. I'm going to say dev bonus. Just because the dev wanted to put it in there, that may not be, people may not be happy, especially with a large enterprise. And in a large enterprise, and when I say a large enterprise, a large organization, they got a lot going on. Uh, you know, they're paying you probably a high dollar amount. The bigger the organization seems to pay the best, but they also expect you to fall in line and do things a certain way. Doesn't leave a lot of space for personal style or opinions. So anyway, so yeah, I think a reason for a change. Now I could say the date of the change. Now it sort of is right here, but maybe you do it differently. Maybe you got your own type of version history. Maybe you want to say version 1, version 2, version 3.5, that type of stuff. Okay. So date of deployment. And that could be publishing as well. Okay, so I'm going to say now, actually, I think I'm going to, I'm going to take that. And at the back here, day, boom. I'm going to say AM, PM. I think it should switch from military time to 12 hours. I do need a comma there. I do need a comma up here. Date of deployment. Okay, what I need to do here is say date, time, value. Okay. I can vouch for the pay thing. No, paid poorly, lots of flexibility. Yeah, it's really true. If you don't like to be micromanaged, or maybe micromanage is taken a little too far. Um, so in a large enterprise, if they have a bunch of developers, there's a term in the software industry called code smell. Now, Ben, if we worked on the same team and there are like 10 other people, and I open it up and I look at something, I shouldn't be able to say, "Oh, there's Ben's code." Everybody should be following the same way of coding and everything, so that you can't tell who wrote it. No budget for Dataverse. Yeah. Well, this is really odd. Um, what I'm going to say is the larger the organization, the less licenses you get, at least for on the Power Platform. Now, if you think about it, you write an app. When I was at the state of Florida, somebody wrote an app, and she's a fellow MVP now, but she wrote a great app, and everybody in the organization used it. But there were over 10,000 users. So there's no way they were going to buy 10,000 times $20 a month times 12 months in a year. That's a lot of money. Now, if it's a mom and pop shop and you only have 5 employees, 5 people using it, well, that's a little more manageable. Yeah. So my experience is the smaller it is, they almost don't care about the premium license. The larger you get, and a lot of times project managers like, well, we just need to get the premium license for the developer. No, if anything, you don't need you don't need a license for the developer. You just create a development environment for that person, which is free. But if you want them to use it, you got to pay. You got to pay for it. Um, so there's a huge upside to using the Power Platform. And the big upside is that it's easy to get some ROI on the effort. It's a rapid application development platform. So that's the payment that's what you pay to have that. Now, is there any other information that we want to put in a version history? And if we add stuff later, no big deal. I'm just trying to think of everything. Date of deployment, that would be a good thing. I like it. I think I'm going to go with this, unless somebody gives me a great idea of something to add. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this. And I also need to go in here and click on default. Otherwise, I'll lose it if I didn't save, or it crashed, or my session expired, which does happen very often in Power Apps. I'm going to paste that over into Notepad++. Okay, and I'll be referencing this as I create my data sources here. Okay, so I'm going to go look. I think I sort of like to create a new SharePoint site. And I'm going to go look at, you know what? We're going to call this, we do have accelerator data. This is good. This is good stuff. Come on. I don't need that other SharePoint site. Okay, accelerator data. Okay. So we got some good mock data. You know what? Now I want to create my own site for this template. And I'm going to call this Power Apps Templates, or maybe the Ultimate Power Apps Template. It's a long name, huh? Okay. What I'm going to do for the description for this thing is I'm going to, if you guys want to check that out, you want to join, there it is. Just put the link there in the chat. For the description is, I'm just going to put that. It's for this template. Yeah, it's going to be long. Next. I'll make that public. So all my accelerator students will have access to this list, and I'm going to add myself as the owner. And then I want to say everyone. It's not going to allow me to do that. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Applying the template. There we go. I don't like pop-ups, guys. Now I got to wait for the sprocket to appear. You guys notice that? Now, question is, do I need to zoom in here a little bit? There we go. Let's go into permissions, site permissions. And I'm going to go down here to advanced permission settings. I don't want to allow anybody to come in here and change the schema. But what I do want to do is I want to make sure people can add, edit, and delete the rows inside. So I'm going to say, look at this. Everyone except external. Okay, that's already set up. Very good. Now, I'm going to hit back, click on this link above. We've got that. Okay, let's go in and create this list. And what should our database table be called? I almost want to prefix all of the table names with template. You guys like that idea? The reason I would want to have a prefix like this is if I create this like version info, and you're trying to add all these SharePoint lists into an existing, maybe there's already a table out there. Maybe you have a Dataverse table. There's already a table out there with that name. Or maybe a SQL Server, there's already a table. So if I say template, versioning info, again, that's long, but what is cool, oh, you know what would be cool? If we just said temp. So it would stand for template, and also it's temporary, which means you need to rename it for an app. TPL for short. I don't like camel case for table names. So, by the way, a camel case is what we do when we name our, let's say our text boxes, TXT first name. Camel case is lowercase, then uppercase, every word after that. So I do that for controls, and we do that for variables. So GBL is camel case, and we'll say global variable. And you could type it out if you wanted. But I don't. Now, I did that for the Garage app. I said TBL. What's nice about doing a prefix, if you use something like that, TPL or TBL for table, is that when you're in Power Apps, all you got to do is hit those first three letters, and it just cuts through everything and just shows you your data sources. That's really nice. But in this case, all we got to do is do temp versioning. Okay. Now, in your case, Ben, you can just keep that lowercase or abbreviate it like you did. I don't see anything wrong with that. In SharePoint, anything's going to fly. When you try to move something into SQL Server, there's probably if the organization is big enough to have a DBA, database administrator, you're gonna have to answer to them. So, or find out what the standard is, because they'll be they might want to do a code review every time you try to deploy and make you do things a certain way with the data. So I'm going to go ahead and create this, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 fields to create, and I don't like these pop-ups. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to say show or hide columns. I always want the ID there. Okay, so we'll do that. I don't need so much room for the title. I'm going to add a new one, and the reason for change will be here. Single line of text is good. Save. We got a lot of these. Okay. And now I'm just going to start copy and pasting the names over here. Okay, so this is going to be date time. Data deployment. Short description. You know what we could do? We could use the title for that. I almost want a really descriptive date. Now we could put something else in title that will take the short description, maybe a date timestamp or something. All right, so I'm going to paste in short description, and then long description will be multiple lines of text. Okay, you got to make sure you do not use rich text. You'll probably regret it later on. I've learned from the burn. Okay, author. And this is going to be, not only author, but I'm just going to say author info. Okay, I want to change that. Info. And we also need a title. Okay. Author info, single line of text will be just fine. Now, the single line of text in SharePoint, I believe, is 255 characters, if I'm not mistaken. Now, when you get so many fields going across here, what I do is I click on that sprocket, I go into list settings. I'm going to go down here. Author info. Now we need our version number, single line of text. Scroll down. Okay. Authoring version, single line of text. I can't keep up. And the last one is going to be the Power Apps version. Now, what would be cool, guys, if we created a binary field that would hold the MS App file for that version? That would be really cool. I think so. You know what we could do? We could put it in the attachments. Now, I don't like to. Attachments is sort of a weird thing, to be honest, but not a bad idea. Let's see if we got a file type. I don't think we do, because we have document libraries. Yeah. I might use attachments for that. Now, that may never be hardly used. Like, why would you need to get at a specific version? Good thing. It's good to have the option. All right, so I click on this little square until I get the shortest thing there. Go into site contents here, and we see that it's there. All right, so I'm going to go back into here. Okay. And I'm going to pull this in as data source. So very good. Ooh, look at that. I turn this on, so if I have a data source, it's going to create an environment variable for that. That's great. Okay. So we pulled in that data. Oh, it's still pulling it in. And then we almost need another table to add, edit, delete stuff here. Okay. So we have that. Now, before I pull that in, let me remove it for a moment. And I'm going to say, I'm going to create a new screen, and this will be a dev screen. And I'm going to use something with the header and form, header and table, header and gallery, approval request. No. You know what I want is something like what we have over here. I hate this, guys. I hate it. So we had this open. So I've been going live for a little over an hour, and now it's already, oh, do you want to continue edit? Yeah. Well, that makes me believe that if I try to save it, do a change, that it's almost stale and it won't actually save any changes. But I really like this layout. And what happens if we go to the code and we take all this? Okay, let me try this. It's all in one container. So instead of doing the whole screen, I can copy this, copy the code. Then I go into this one. I don't need to look at that again. Okay. We're going to add a blank new screen at the bottom. And I'm going to paste this. I'd have to pull in that menu. No problemo. So I'm going to go and create component library. And, oh, here it is. This little icon right here. Click on that. And then we got Superpower Labs library. Refresh? What's this code thing? Okay, that's interesting. Well, over here, I'm going to open up. I copied it from here. Now, if I go over to components, go into custom, Superpower Labs components. You know what? It is in a different environment. That's what's going on. It makes me regret using my my menu there. And I don't want to try to figure this out here on the spot. But that would have been cool. I'm trying to think. Well, yeah, we could create our own little thing here quickly. I'm going to try to use a template to save myself time. So I'm going to do this. I'll get rid of that 8, screen 8. And this one is definitely going to be a dev screen. And we're going to call this version history data. Now I'm going to go to the home screen and I'm going to grab that. Copy that. Oh, this is going to work out even better. You know why? Because we have a better menu in this one. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to paste. I'm going to go back over here, go to home. You know what I should have done? I could have just duplicated this. Check this out. Copy the code. This new feature is awesome. Love it. I am going to delete that. And I'm going to paste it. Oh, come on. Comp header 1 could not be found. We're in the same project. Comp header 1. Yeah, there's the header. It's in the project. I'm going to hit refresh. Okay. That's really strange. So you're telling me I'm going to take that out. I think it was complaining about this guy, though. Let me go try that again. Copy the code. Go here. Do a paste. Comp header. Comp header 1. So it is that's having the issue. So I'm going to duplicate this one. This might seem like a boring thing, but it's sort of worth the boring part in order to get something good and solid to use as a template. And sometimes coding isn't very interesting. Try debugging. It's very, unless you like to solve puzzles, then you might get a dopamine hit from that. And it's taken a while to create that screen. And of course, I can't do anything while it's doing that. And I bet it has a problem with the other component. And it does. All right, so I'm going to take that one out. Mm-hmm. Now it's got another error. Yeah. Forget about it. And we're just going to go here, and I like the name of that. I'm going to delete this. Create a new screen. I'm going to go with this. Now I wonder if I can take this and this. I can't do them both at the same time because they're in different containers. And I'm going to go down here. I want to paste that in there. And I want to make the flexible height of this. Turn off the flexible height. I'm sorry, width. And then whatever the width of this is, I'm going to make it the same width. Dot width. There we go. This isn't too bad. And then we'll go grab this header, which I think is better than Microsoft's header, by the way. I'm going to copy that. Go down here. Click into that container. Hey, we're in business, guys. Look at that. So that was a learning moment for both you and me. Okay, and this is where we'll put our stuff. Let's create. I'm going to go over here and try to grab what I did here. That would save me a lot of time. inside of this, inside of that. What I would want is this container. Oh, yeah. And this. I wonder if I can copy both at the same time. Copy code. You guys think it'll allow us? So we need a horizontal container. And then I got this one down here. Okay, so we got these three. We got this. We got this. I'm going to try to grab both of these. We spend a lot of time on this in the workshop, so I want to grab as much value as possible out of this. Okay, so I'm going to go there. I click on there, and I'm going to paste that. No, that's not what I wanted at all. I can't just hit Control V. I got to do this. Paste this code. Cross your fingers. Ooh, I see measles. No. I tried. I'm going to delete that out of there. Okay. So inside this container, we're going to have another container, and it's going to be a horizontal. We'll throw that in there. And then in here, click on that container, and I'm going to add in a normal container. Okay, and in this container, I might try to copy this. That one was really good too. I'm gonna try to click both of these. Copy code. It's gonna save us so much time. That's why I'm putting so much effort into seeing if I can get it to work. Okay, I think I can fix this fairly easily. So we have this going down, and then that. Now from here, I need another container. It needs to be horizontal, but not there. It needs to be here. Okay, I think that's where it was anyway. Okay, and now I'm going to take these two things. Going back, and we'll, okay, so this is one, and then, yeah, that should be fine. This is going across. These two things need to be inside that. Yeah, being responsive, it's not for the faint of heart. I'd almost rather use X, Y, height, and width dynamically than I don't know. Building out these little tools efficiency is akin to birthing your own little babies. That's true. That you look after, and in turn look after you. Yes, very much so. And something else you'll experience is other people, and when I say other people, I'm not talking about other developers. I'm talking about like project managers, your boss. They don't have the same sentiment as you. Like, oh no, just take that out and do this instead. And you're like, oh you just made it crappy. You just made it less cool. And I had a joke uh, early on in my career, and I kid around with Kurt, and it was like, you know, it's like being a spider that weaves a web. And a spider, if a spider could talk, hey, look at my cool web over here in the corner. And this guy comes by like, freaking spiders, and it like, takes it out. And the spider goes out there and tries to recreate it, but it just doesn't have the same detail and the nice design that it had before. And then somebody walks by, freaking spiders, and it wipes it out again. And then after a few rounds of that, the spider's just looking on the side and there's just like two strands of spider web. And he's like, yeah, that's my web. It's really disheartening sometimes. But on their side, in their defense, they're like, oh, well, these developers, they just want to tinker and tweak these things and they'll just go on forever, which is also sort of true. All right. So I want to put, I need another container. That is a vertical. I'll take these two guys, I'll cut, and I'll put them in here. And then, if I'm not mistaken, over here, I'm gonna try to do it again, guys. I mean, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into this yesterday. Okay. I need another container. Which one did I copy? Yeah, I copied the container. Okay. And I'm going to paste it. No, I can't do that. I got to do the code. That did not work. So let's paste in the code. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the container 7. That would be bad. Oh, this is beautiful, guys. This is beautiful. I want to keep this up, Ben. That was so profound. I love it. I love that you brought that up. Okay, so now we've got a gallery here. And what this is going to contain, that has a container, and inside that there's a label, and inside the label we're going to say versions, app versions. I mean, we could also say history, app version history. So we got to singularize the word version for it to look right. Looks like we're using a purple theme here. Is that right? Yeah. We're using Super Power Labs purple, which is similar to Power Apps purple, but a little different. Okay. Now I want to start off with no data source for this. Okay. So for example, I've got a save button here. Whenever this screen comes up, okay. Let's name the screen. Dev. Ooh, no. Dev. Feature. Dev. And I might actually say data. Because this screen is going to handle data for that. Guys, what happened to our stuff in the middle? This is interesting. Okay. What just happened? All right. I'm going to save to get a restore point. Guys, am I having a senior moment or what? All right. I'm going to hit reverse. Can I keep undoing? Are you going to help me out here? Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, was I doing that on the home screen? I think I was. Okay, that's no biggie. I am sort of curious what I was overwriting, and maybe it was just a blank thing. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. It gave me a little bit of increase of blood pressure there, but okay. Now what I'm going to do, I wonder if I can take all this now that it's in the same project, copy the code, go down here. Oh my goodness. Container 5. So if you got big changes that you're going to do to a screen or anything, always hit that save. You're going to get a restore point. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to say paste. Please. No. Okay. Well, I'm left to. Oh, I did make a. I do have a backup a little bit of that screen, but it doesn't work. I'm going to duplicate this screen. Guys, this version history is really important because as I'm building this template for you guys, you probably want to know what were all the changes at what time, what was added, why, all that information. It's going to be really valuable. Or so I think. No, I've actually had somebody tell me, hey, with the Jumpstart kit, can you give me a version history? I'm like, well, I didn't really do that. I should have. I knew better. I should have done that. That's a common practice in software development. And it was a fellow software developer that was asking for that feature. All right. So whenever I'm waiting, I usually go back to a dad joke. Let's go back and look at this screen here. I think this is looking great. What we created yesterday, that screen 2. I think we're just messing around with combo boxes. I'm going to delete that one. We don't need that. I'm going to duplicate that screen, and I'm hoping that when I duplicate a screen like this, I have no errors. Isn't that great? I'm going to save that. Fantastic. Okay, here we go. Now we lost our menu. Increíble. It's not showing me what I'm selecting, though. There's the flyout. What's the width on this? 0. Comp flyout menu 2. Comp flyout menu underscore 2. Well, I can tell you it's probably or should be 80 or 100. I should probably create. Let me expand this a little bit. This guy right here, what is the width? The width is defined based on that. Okay, so you see that it's 98. I'm going to go to at formulas, 98. Remember that because my short-term memory is not so great. So we got app themes. What I want to call it is I want to call it FX left side menu width. And so it'll always be the same for the same menu all throughout. Okay. So I'm going to say, was it 98? Mark says evil. Yeah, these responsive, and I don't know, I'm not so sure that it's about the responsive containers. I think it has to do with the copying and pasting in code and stuff. So now we can actually use this all over the place. Now, this should be in alphabetical order. So FX left. So that would be right here. And you want everything alphabetical because eventually this thing's going to have a million lines of code. That might be a stretch. Maybe 100,000. I don't know. They're not giving us line numbers here. That would be nice. All right, I'm going to take that, and this is going to be right before my web colors. Of course, the web colors are fairly long. And I'll put it right there. All these things are together, but okay. I should probably say const or something so that all these things are together. That would be nice. I'm going to put something here to remind myself of that. Hopefully you guys don't hear that. Do you guys hear that? Const. That's what I should call the stuff. Const, left side menu. So all my constants, I could just have like a single value like this. They would effectively just all be grouped together, which would be really nice. So I'm just going to leave that here, and I'm going to say to do. Change all the constants to have the fx const prefix. Six 29 24. Very good. Save early, save often. All right. Now we have that variable. Let's go in here. And it's 98. Did I set that to 98? Now look at this. Oh, it looks to see if it's expanded or collapsed. Okay. Well, if it's so did I create a property for this thing called collapse width? And I do. So this is where we should put that. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I made this new menu and it's like 10 times better than my old menu. So yeah, I got toddlers that are wrecking the house right now, and they are supervised by my wife. Guys, don't call DCFOs on me. Okay. So where am I getting the error? I got an error down here, but it's based on, okay, so the comp2 flyout menu is right there. Like, does it not have a width? Yeah, it's 98. What? Like, what's going on here, guys? Um, you know what I think would be hilarious is if I renamed it to something that doesn't exist and I take it out. I think it actually moved it. So by the way, guys, if I see some measle dots here, I'll click on edit with the formula bar. If it doesn't show it, this is so common, guys. What is this? There's an error. Show me the error. So I'll click on edit in the formula bar. Do that twice. If it doesn't give me it, I click on get help. And then it's going to give me the error. Remove or correct the reference to the name that isn't valid. Name isn't valid. Selected isn't recognized. Well, do we have a gallery? Yeah, it's right here. I'm going to rename this gallery. Hope it doesn't blow up. And then I'm going to take that 2 back out. Okay, so the gallery is there. Okay, now it's going to show it to me. We have combo selected user 1. Which is, it's this one. Look at that, guys. It's 2, enter. And guys, this is probably the reason, if you go look at this new awesome feature that they're trying to get out here. Do you see that little word right there? Preview. Means you might, if you decide to start using it, use it at your own risk in a way. Okay, so it doesn't have a problem with the combo box. It has a problem with this. Okay, so I'm going to hit cut, selected dot. I know what's going on. I do. Let's go over to the data source. I don't have Office 365 users, and we sort of need it. Okay. And I'm going to be honest, we'll probably end up having Outlook in here. But make sure you pick Office 365 Outlook and not this one. Because, well, almost every app that I write uses those two. And it's not a data source. You're just going to have it in there. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Just made a major change there. Okay, so things are starting. So I should probably remember what's going on here. So we have, there's a user table. Called it app version history. Now this one, okay, because I spent time with this one, I'm going to continue with this one. And what I'm going to call this, we need to create that data source in memory. Okay, so if I go to OnVisible, I hate globals, guys. Globals, in my opinion, are bad. Why are they bad? Because they create bugs. They create bugs. I don't like choice fields. They cause delegation problems. I don't like complex types with SharePoint because it causes delegation problems. So a lot of the stuff that I do might seem weird, but I've learned from the burn. You know, if you guys want to trust my professional experience with that, it's gonna save you from the burn, from paying the price of regret. But sometimes you have to learn from the burn. You're like, well, I do it this way. Why'd you do that? Well, that's the way Darren does it. Well, that's not a good enough reason. And then you do it the other way, and then eventually you learn. But there's something to be said on the other side. So there's a story of a grandmother that, taught her mother how to bake a pot roast or cook a pot roast. And the grandmother would always cut off the sides of the pot roast, put it in the pan, and then throw the sides that were cut off, they would go into the pan as well. And then when the mother was teaching the daughter, well, this is what you do. And she's like, you cut off the 2 sides. It's like, why do you do that? I don't know. That's just how I was taught. Do it that way. And then the granddaughter's like, she calls up grandma. Grandma, why did you always cut off the 2 ends of the pot roast? She goes, you're still doing that? I had to do that because the pot was too small. So you should ask, Darren, why do you do it that way? Because if you don't know the why, then you'll probably lose touch with the reason behind it. If you don't have a good reason, you shouldn't do it. So you should ask if it's not apparent, if I don't mention it. And that applies not just to me teaching a power ups, could apply to all kinds of things. So, and the people that instruct and teach you should not be challenged or offended by you asking the why. I believe a good instructor or a good teacher will welcome the whys. Okay, enough of my soapbox stuff. What am I doing here? Oh, on visible, I want to do an update context. I love update context. Now I don't like how long it is. I don't really care for all these curly braces and all this jazz, but it is necessary based on what it is and how it's designed. So I'm going to say LOC. All your local variables should have an LOC there. And I'm going to say LOC. This should be the data source. Is there a better name for that? I don't know. I like to keep my local variables very generic because when I duplicate that screen, that LOC record, now if I would have called it LOC customer record, like I copy it and use it for a different purpose. Now we're saying customer all over the place when it has nothing to do with the customer. So I keep things generic, a record. In this case, I'm going to say data source. What I'm going to do? Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a collection. And I hope, no, I don't need a semicolon there. Okay. So guys, if you want to create a literal, like you want to create a collection with hard-coded values, use square brackets. If you use the table function, it does not give you a collection. It gives you a table value. And if you create a table value, well, you can't use collection type of functions with it. Again, you may not realize that until after you've been using it for a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to data source. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to our documentation. Boom. And by the way, guys, I'm probably going to rename this video, this live stream of how to add version history to this. Because, I mean, yeah, this is taking up the whole time. And it's awesome. This is great. This is good stuff. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to grab all this information. Oh, I want the curly braces. And there we go. And then we'll go back to the other screen. Here. Paste that in there. And if you guys would excuse me for one moment. Getting a little cold down here in Florida. It's 90 degrees out, and I had the AC and the ceiling fan cranked up a little high, or, after a while it gets cold. So here is a data source. Let's add in at least 2 records. I mean, 1 record, that's no fun. 1 is the loneliest number. Okay, so now we have data. I'm going to take that. Now, in order for that collection to be created, I'm going to click on home screen, and then I'm going to come back. Okay. I'm going to click on this gallery. And instead of that, I'm going to paste that in there. Look at that. We got 2 records, guys. I'm very excited. Very excited indeed. All right, so let's go in here and so we don't have a title. Well, we should have a title. I thought we had a title in there. Okay, you see how easy it is to get stuff out of sync? 1, 2, 3, 4, title. I'm going to say small change, and then I'll do something like this, and then I'll put a date and time stamp there. I don't need to typecast it back to a date time because it's not going into a date time field. This is a single line of text. Okay, so we got title. Okay, let's count let's make sure that we're all on track here, because if you go in here and you look at the settings, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fields. Okay, that was the wrong project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that was it. So I need to, I need a comma at the end. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go over here. And in the on visible, we're going to add it. Oh, there we go. And of course, both these records are going to have the same exact information in there, which is fine. Now, whenever you put code in your app on visible, it won't execute until you go to a different screen and then come back. Okay. Now I'm going to call this screen dev data app versions. Now, what did we call our list? Versioning info. That's really what we should call it, versioning info. Okay, so we have two records here. So let's click on this. It says it's a table. Now you notice that you'll never see the word collection here. That's what's so weird about Power Apps is that you got a collection and table really aren't the same thing. They seem like they are, but they're really not. But anyway, so we do have data here. Okay. So let's see what's going on. We have LOC record. That's fine. So what we can do up here. So what I have is I want a default selected record from the gallery to be selected by default. And what we could do here, okay, go in here and say update context. Now, you might think, oh, well, we could just do both assignments with the same update context. But you can't if the second one is dependent upon the first. Okay, so I'm going to say here, LOC record, and then I'm going to say first. Give me the first record out of what we have above. And then we're set there. So I'm going to go to a different screen and then come back. Look at that. LOC record. Why does it have a problem with that? The items. Well, what is the items? The items should be LOC data source. Okay, let's go to our, that's right there. And we're giving it the first record. And we assign it here. LOC, LOC, first. What's going on there? This is a little odd. And I'm going to go to a different screen, come back, and if it doesn't resolve it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit publish. And guys, I've had some times where I hit save and it seems like it actually saved it, but it really didn't. I exit out, and then I had a fellow Power Apps developer said, yeah, sometimes I hit publish to make sure it actually takes. So sometimes I do that before I back out. Go back in. Sometimes going out of the project, coming back in is like rebooting a computer. It solves a lot of problems. Sometimes Power Apps gets a little confused. And it's taking a while. I should have my dad joke app up and ready to go. All right, so I'm going to go here. Now we have some errors. Now the data's showing up. So okay, well we don't have an image, so we're gonna take, I'm gonna say sample image. There we go. And then here, LOC record. Okay. Now, if I brought over a drop-down list, I'm trying to think of controls that will hold a single record, a classic drop-down list, and I said LOC record. Look at that. Let's make this really wide. What is going on here? Author. It's looking at the user table. Why is it looking at the user table? Because when we clicked on this gallery, look, it's LOC data source. So it looks like it still has some remnants of where I pasted it from. All right, so I'm going to do a search for, that is so weird. Well, where did it get it from? Because if you look at the data sources, it's not there. Oh man, this is so weird. Um, okay. You know what? This will mess up Power Apps every time. Look at this. Okay. I'm gonna comment that out because that will confuse Power Apps. It will. And I should have known that. Okay. Now if I go to a different screen and come back, well, we lost the error, but we still got this guy in here named Darren. Why is he in there? Okay, let's try this. I'm going to save it. I'm going to back out. I'm going to wait till that save button is done. Shoo. This is what coding's like. It's a roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster. But slowly over time, you've got something that is beautiful and wonderful. Like, like Ben said, putting out these little tools, efficiencies is kind of birthing your own little babies that you look after. I love that. All right. I'm going to go back in there. Oh, wow. Okay. Now we'll go into this. Oh my goodness, what is going on? How does it get that data? I am so confused. I bet that we've got this data set up somewhere. I'm going to go do a search for user. User. Okay. Wow, this is. Ooh, look at that. Let's say LOC data source. Well, this screen doesn't have that. Well, I'm just going to comment it out. Okay, where else do we have this at? Comment that out. I'm going to go look for any code. Oh, see, this is, this needs to be taken out. Eventually, I'm going to get it so that it's going to be very generic, easy to use here. Okay, so we got that. Yeah, I'm going to comment all this stuff out. We're going to get there, guys. There we go. Now, you guys want to know some of my secrets here? If you're a coder and been coder for years, you probably already know this type of stuff. But let's say wherever your cursor's at in a line, you can just hit home and it's going to go to the beginning. End will take you to the end. You guys probably don't even know that there's a home and an end key. It's typically north of your up arrow or your arrow keys. Okay. Now, if I hit shift home, it selects it all. And if I'm at the beginning and I hit shift end, it's going to select it all. Now let's add in control. Control shift home goes all the way up. Now if I at the top of the screen here and I do control shift end, it's going to select everything. Okay, so if you guys see me start doing a bunch of fast coding stuff, like put these block comments in, I just hit control home and then add it in. No extra charge, guys. All right, so let's go in here and make sure this is all data agnostic. Okay, we've got to the point where there's no errors there. Very good. Okay, I'm going to take that out for now. I think we're getting there. Okay. Now I'm really confused why this thing still has my user account information in it. That is wild. You know what I almost want to do? Look at that. It's holding the information. Okay. It's not giving me user information. It's giving me, let's go look at the value for this drop down. Look, author. There you go. There's the title. Okay, we're good. We're good. So now I'm going to delete that one. And then I'm going to go to each of these guys. I'm going to comment this out for now. You guys are really quiet today. All right. I almost wish the foreground color for my menu is pulling in. What are we using all over the place for this? So if I click on that, is using the colors.primary. Okay, very good. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to go find that and I'm going to paste it. So it looks proper now. And I'm going to do the same thing for here. That's looking a little better. Now I'm going to make this label wider by saying whatever the parent width is, I'm going to subtract self.x. Then I'm also going to subtract the trash icon, which should be called ICO. Delete. So we'll take out the width of that, and then we should be good. Okay. So you notice that we do not have a data source that's got all this version history stuff. We created it in memory because when I give you guys this template, I don't want you guys to have errors all over the place because you haven't created the SharePoint list yet, or the Dataverse, or the SQL Server. Also, this trash can, I don't want to see it unless I've selected it. So I'm going to say this item dot is selected. There we go. You know what I want to do? Nah, I shouldn't do that. So yesterday in the workshop, we were coming up with users and creating photos for users. And Mr. Mark here, there's a website that I use called This Person Does Not Exist. So I was thinking about putting that in there, but it doesn't make sense in this particular case. I'm talking about app version history here. So what we could do is we could put an icon in here instead of a something like this. Okay, so what I could do, I almost want like a bullet point or something. I might do that later. I'd like to stick to the task at hand here. There seems to be, if I run this, you guys notice there's like little lines down here. I do not want those lines. And I think it's caused by the drop shadow. Take the drop shadow out. You don't want to drop shadow on everything. Like we've got it, something's going on here with the drop shadow, I think. Because if we click on this one, got none. If I click on this, that's kind of light. Something, none. There's something here. And I think it's this one right here. Yeah, turn that light thing off. Okay, that looks more clean. And eventually this menu, I don't want there to be like a double thing going on there. That seems odd. Maybe I can just fix it by going in here and taking out the gap. Hmm. Yeah, I'm still getting used to these responsive containers here. Drop shadow. Take that out. Please don't crash on me. All right, does that look better? No, there's still two drop shadows. Do you guys think that looks nice? Yeah. Angela, that was what I was thinking. But instead of using a default image, see, not every data source is going to have a person type of a thing. So I could put like a generic profile photo for a human, but in this case, this is an app version history record. So I might want to have it a little whatever. So if that is, then we could, yeah, now you got me thinking here. And I'm a little distracted, which doesn't take much, by the way. I'm going to put that there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this ICO record item. And if this is visible, I don't want the image to show up. So go down here, visible, and we'll say visible, and we'll say not. But I'll use that image for this guy, and I'll say X. Well, I want that to be the same thing as That's X, and the Y will be the same thing as the image Y and the height and the width. Here we go. All right. Now we need to pick an appropriate icon. What icon in here screams, hey, this is just a record? Container padding. That might be what's going on there. Yeah, thank you, Dustin. Okay. I'm going to come back to what you guys were saying about that extra padding in there. And I want to make sure I get a nice little, I almost want a bullet point. You know, what about a horizontal? That looks horrible. Now we could put some, we could put some padding in there. That looks a little weird. But on the left and the right, does that look weird, guys? I'd almost rather use a rectangle if I was going to do something like that. So let's try to get fancy here, or snazzy. Now we can change this icon based on what it is this thing is for. Maybe a flag, lock, unlock. I don't know if I like any of these. Database record. Is that cheesy or what? Let's do 10. I sort of want to go with 15. Okay, we can always change it. There we go. All right, so let's look at this menu here. This is bugging me a little bit. So let's go to the container. One of you said we need to look at the padding. We have no padding there. Container padding. And I took out the gap. What's the X and the Y for this guy? 0. You know what we should do? We should make sure that there's no drop shadow. Search for the record in the search box. I think this is what's, if I run this, so it's got that thing, and that thing, does it have a drop shadow? Look at this. It does not have a drop shadow. There's just a line to it. But the menu does have a drop shadow. Something's not right. Gap, border. I had no idea you could change. So if you brought down the wrong container, you can change it from horizontal to vertical. I did not know that. I learn something new every day. But how is this doing that? Now, if I click on the menu, it looks like it doesn't really change it. Okay, so something's going on with the menu itself. I think that's what's going on. Okay, so I need to go into the, you know what I think I was trying to do with that is that I wanted a little drop shadow for it. And in order to do that, I had a container, and within a container, and the inner container had a shadow in order to see the shadow. Because if a container takes up the full height and width of it, you're not going to see the shadow. So I will leave that for a different day. And this purple here is almost too purple. Lighter 70. Is there a lighter 80? Is there a lighter 90? No. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Okay. Look at that. Okay. Now, because we don't have a data source yet, pulling up my phone. Silence. Okay, we're pulling up the information here. I don't want to search for anything. So I almost want to take that container out. Delete. Now we have an error. Because a lot of these things point to what was selected in there. Okay. So the fields, I'm going to automatically generate the title. So I'm not going to display that to the user. I'm going to say reason for change. Now, if you look at this, the font color, darker 60, darker 50. Darker 60 was almost too much. If I zoom in as much as possible, does that look like a purple to you guys? 40. 30. I think that looks nice, if I may say so myself. So let's click on these little, I can only do one at a time, and that's something. And this little label here. I like it. The more beautiful I can make an app, the more excited I am to work on it. Which is a little strange, I guess. Okay. Now we don't need any left padding on these guys. In fact, we've got a little label here on the media add button, and we're not going to have any images for this. Let's go and take that out. Okay, so we got reason for the change, txt, reason for change. Date of deployment. Yeah, that's important. So for this one, I'm going to say short description. Now I got a question for you guys. So a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm pulling from, it's a lot of experience writing software, and I'm very strategic in how I create my software, especially when I'm creating a template. So all this type of detail, Power Apps is made for citizen developers. Is this a little too much? Like I need to be tailoring my content for what you guys want and need. Is it a little too much? Too much detail? Yeah. Okay. So the dimensions, the parent. Okay. Very good. I wish I had a slider control here. Okay. We got a short description, long description. We need to create another container. I'm going to copy this. Copy. Click on this container and hit paste. Hopefully it's there. Okay. And then I'm going to rip out that guy, and we're going to add a modern date picker there. Very good. And then the width, I'm gonna copy that and put the width in there. And then the X should be 0. And the Y, well, The Y should be this. The height of that. Okay. Now, instead of it saying long description, this should be date of deployment, which I misspelled. Okay, we got that. Author information. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to copy that. Go up there and paste. And author information. Okay, Angela, I appreciate that. You telling me you appreciate the detail. Okay, very good. Yeah, I feel bad. You know, a lot of the other Power Apps content out here on YouTube or wherever is typically a good 15 to 25 minutes. You know, you cover a topic, you explain it well, and then you get out. And I'm going to tell you, if I see a video over like 7 or 15 minutes on YouTube, I don't see it. I don't sit there and watch 2 or 3 hour videos. So I can't expect you guys to find this stuff interesting. But if you are, it's great. This is the type of content I like to create, you know. Okay, so we got author information. And we need 3 more fields in here. Hopefully we have enough space. Collapse a lot of this stuff here. So I'm going to grab that one. I'm going to grab that one. I'm going to copy. I'm going to click here, paste. Yeah, this is actually looking sort of nice. Okay, so you know what? We need a 3rd one in there, though. Reason short. Well, the long description needs to be longer, too. So some of these, I feel like I need to make half as long. Okay, so for this, the width of this guy, let's make this parent.width divided by 2. Oh boy. Copy, paste it in there, and I'm bringing this up to 8.6. All right, so I'm going to do this. And the control square bracket is not working. Up. I want to drag that. Hopefully Microsoft's listening. I want them to be side by side. I'm essentially creating my own little form control. Okay. Let's look at like flexible height's off. Let's turn flexible height on. Oh, not height, width. So these two have a width that's divided by parent width divided by 2. And it's not taking that. So any of you guys know, change the parent container overflow property to scroll. Oh my goodness, you're awesome. Thank you so much. This student has become the teacher. Okay, change the parent container overflow. Overflow, is it off here to the right? Okay. Well, the vertical I want to scroll. Oh my goodness. I just made my own cool form control. My mind is blown. Okay, I'm going to go click on that again. And now I don't want to, there's probably another thing here. Is there an overflow property? So so that was a huge win for me, knowing that I can actually have that scroll like that. But what I want is 8.6 and 8.7 to be side by side. So that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. So I'm going to assume it's somewhere in here. like minimum width. It's 250, which is what that's going to be anyway. What is going on? And, ooh, the state picker, that label, that should be, this Y should be 30, and it is. And this label is like, why is that like that? You guys see what I'm working with here? The height is 30. The Y is 30. Why is this all messed up? It's like, that's weird. Okay. How do I do a side-by-side thing? You know what? I probably need a horizontal container in there, right? Oh my goodness. This is what I don't like about all this responsive stuff. You got containers within containers within containers. There's so much nesting. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add container that's horizontal, and it's all the way down there. Let's move that to the top. I'm going to take 8.6 and 8.7, and I'm going to cut them and put it in container 4 and paste. It worked. Fantastic. Now the height of this, what is the container height versus the text control? Yeah, how did I set that up? Okay, so for this one, the height is set up. Okay, I think you're onto something there, Dustin, because really it should be what are the height of of these things are. So I should say, gee whiz, the label dot height plus something else dot height, and the something else is this guy. And then it's perfect. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take out that drop shadow. I almost wish they would take out the drop shadow by default, but beggars can't be choosers, right? So we got, it's always going to be 30 by 32, which is 62. So I'm just going to say 62 for now. I really don't want to go over 3 hours. Height. Okay, it's already set to 62, but this one needs to be 62. Is there a flexible height on this one? Um, yeah, it should be the some of the children, absolutely. And I feel like maybe we should just have a variable that we have set in the screen on visible, and all of them just use that. That would be nice. So instead of just talking about it, I should be being about it. Okay, so for here, I can put another LOC. Height 62. So now I just use that all the time. Okay. I'm not looking at that one. Yeah, I am. There we go. We're in here. Okay, its height. There we go. This container height should be that. This container height should be that. Height should be that. It's a little tedious, but if we ever want to change the height, all we got to do is change it in one place. I bet it's 0 right now. It's blank. It's worse. Okay. Okay. Look at that. Dustin's helped me out here. Flexible height is right there. Toggle on. Flexible height. I'm assuming for this one. Where's flexible height? Now, are we talking about these two guys? Help me out, Dustin. Where's that flexible height at? Okay, I think I need to go to the parent. There it is. Thank you. Now, when I clicked on this, look at that. If I click on flexible height, look at what the real property name is. It's called fill portions. Ah, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Dustin. I appreciate that. I'm going to give you my crash course for free, by the way. All right, let's go in here and, okay, so we don't have those controls anymore. Right above the little mini Darren. Yeah, this guy right here, right? Yeah. All right, I'm going to hit F11. Okay. So I'm trying to wrap things up for you guys here. Now, for this container, we do need a gap of, I don't know, at least 10. Yeah, that would look nice. Now, what I need to do for these guys in the width is we need to subtract parent dot gap. No. Did I do that right? -5, and then okay, the width. Yeah. The width of these two things needs to be +5. Right? Yeah, there we go. Wow, that was a lot of effort just to make something side by side. Oh my goodness. But hey, it's responsive, right? Hopefully. Let's go ahead and run this. And let's I don't know, let's make it an iPad. There you go. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's worth it. Let's go with the mobile phone. All right, that does not look good. I guess there's not enough over here to do that. This menu needs to be able to collapse even more. Why doesn't There's like a minimum width. Yeah. Let's make that 150. I don't know. What does that look like? That looks a little better, but this thing can't be. No, that's still not space. The whole thing needs to be down below, and so this goes down. Okay, I need to delve more into responsive design and not try to sit here and try to figure it out. Um, it does bother me a little bit that we've got this little header up here, and it does not line up here. So I feel like this little guy, I'm sorry, this guy, that needs to be 20 all the way around. Not on the sides though. So right will be 10 and left will be 10. That looks better. But not on the bottom. Bottom will be 10. Bottom 0. Is there like a minimum height we got going on? Make that 60. We need to be doing this right here. Okay, so we got that. I want it to be a little taller. Okay. I'm going to deal with that later. And okay, so let's bring all this stuff in. Yeah, we need Bootstrap for PowerFX. We sort of do. Yeah. Yeah. Where's CSS when you need it? I hate CSS, guys. I hate front end development. I hate it so much. I can handle HTML, but CSS and JavaScript, so sloppy, untyped mess. Um, by the way, if you love JavaScript, uh, don't mean to offend you at all. But okay. So this guy right here, this particular container needs to be moved down. Can I use control square bracket? No. So I'm going to have to make this wider or scroll over and move this down. I'm going to collapse it. So we got date of deployment. I'm just looking at things that, I mean, the reason for the change needs to be long. Short description needs to be long. Long description needs to be at the very bottom. Move to the bottom. Very good. Okay. Author information. That doesn't need to be so long. Reason for the change, these one short description. Reason for change, short description. Okay, so we got some duplications here. Okay, so date of deployment and author information could be fairly small. So here, author info, I'm going to take that guy out and I'm going to get myself one of those things and paste that in there. Okay. Short description. Long descriptions at the bottom. Now this thing needs to be set up as a multi-line, and its parent needs to be taller, very tall. Let's multiply the field height by 3. Why not? Oh, no. I don't want to work with that right now. Let's go like this. Yikes. And we'll say browser window size. What's the difference between... No, I don't want window size. No, thank you. Gee whiz. How do I get out of that? Okay, this is looking good. Okay. Long description. This guy right here, its height. Move that down. Its height should be... should be parent dot height minus self dot y. Let's see what that looks like. That looks great. Fantastic. Now you notice when you click on a single line of text, you got that cool little color effect. That looks really nice. But when I click on long description, doesn't quite do that. It does it with a gray. Now I wonder if it's like look, it's okay. I'm going to change that to edit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, this is nice, guys. Author info. Well, we have it right there. Okay, so we have a total field count. We go down here. We need to put title in here. I thought we added this. I probably didn't. I don't want to put anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 9 fields. I'm going to go in here. Control A, Control C. Click on it, go to the side. Control A, Control V. Save. Then go back here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need one more. Okay. Reason for change. Oh, we don't have title. Okay, that's good. We don't want title in there. We're going to do that. Okay, so we're set up. Reason for change. Short description. Data deployment. Other information. These 3 things are going to be short. Okay. We could leave them long. I mean, we got that little scroll bar there, right? And we have plenty of room here. Okay. The author information will be a lot longer than that other. So I'm going to keep author information there. And up here, the Power Apps version is really short. Okay, there's Power Apps version. And let's put some stuff in here like 1-to-1. Now, I didn't change the text. That's just the hint text. So showing them how short it would be. And then down here, we've got author information. Then we've got our version number. And instead of saying it R, let's call it internal. That sounds better. And then I'm going to say Power Apps version. I think that's going to be good. Yeah, version. Okay. Now, whatever we have selected, it should show up over here. If it's a new record, we'll do an empty string. Otherwise, we'll look at this data listing 1. Selected. Oh, look, it's working. Title. No, we don't want title. Reason for change. Look at that. Okay. Now, that which we have in there, I want to make that actually the hint text for that. I think that's great. Which is actually called placeholder text in a modern control. All right, guys, I am going to leave you guys for about 30 seconds for a bio break, and I'll be right back. You know what? While I'm gone, let's see here. Let me see if I can find something. I am going to figure something out here. Let me do that. No, I want to show the screen. I don't want to show my out of this. A comment or even a like really helps the channel and lets people like you know this is good content. Much appreciated. Ingredient for the hundreds of people that we've helped dominate in their organization. With this one skill, you're able to simplify processes for countless tasks like tracking leads, doing inspections, logging attendance, booking desks in a shared office, generating reports, tracking employee performance, and the list goes on. If you have a project that you need to get done, or you're an IT professional or a developer, or if you plan to eventually do some freelancing work with Microsoft Power Apps, I am literally the only person you need to accomplish your goals. Spreadsheets and all the old ways of doing things are becoming redundant, and the people who are able to build Power Apps are going to accelerate their professional career so much faster than everyone else who's okay being average. I have over 20 years experience as a software developer and have been working in Power Apps for over 3 years. We have lots of course material for you, but if you're eager to accelerate your expertise with Power Apps at a much faster pace and want to work directly with me, this is what me and my team are going to do for you. Number one, we're going to figure out exactly what projects and skills you're working on and the overall end goal. Number two, we're going to get clear on exactly what data sources are needed for your projects. If it's a particular project with a deadline, we're going to work with you to make sure that you meet that deadline. And number four, we're going to work with you to make sure that you master the platform. So not only can you finish any projects that you're currently working on, but the projects that come up in the future. And you might want to take those skills and become a freelancer in the future. If that sounds like something that you're interested in and you want to expedite the process of being able to build apps that can literally be used for years, and you want to be an important asset to your organization and any future companies you work for, click the button below and we can have a 15-minute chat about what you're needing and how we can help. Wow, the timing was perfect on that. Let's see, where am I at? There we go. Yeah, I walked in right while it was ending. That's great. Okay. Gotta get my bearing back here. Yeah, author info is there twice. Okay, let's check this out. And you probably said that a few minutes ago when it was. Okay. Now for the author information, let's see, John Doe. Let's say John at Doe.name, something like that. Internal version number. Power Apps version. Oh yeah, I've got a good version here. Don't need to go copy that. Be nice to have some hint text in there, right? We'll say full detailed formation. All right. So we have this coming in. Let's go look at the value. That's working right. So I'm going to copy that. That's what we need probably for almost everything here. Now we do need to change what field it's looking at. Short description. And let's look at maybe value date. We do have a start date and end date, don't we? But what about selected date? There we go. Deployment date. Now I'm going to reverse this. And I'm not going to have a replacement for it. Dates are a little weird. Okay, you guys think about this. You know, if you're providing a string like somebody's name and you don't know their name yet, you can just not type anything there. But what would be a blank date? Is it going to be January 1st of 1900? You know, we have a value of, it's called null in the database world. That means value not provided. So for here, I'm going to put the current date. So I'm going to say today. And that should work really well. I mean, what's going on here? Oh. Okay. So when we created the data in the app, I'm sorry, the screen.onVisible, we sort of messed up. So we got, we did a daytime value. Let's put like real things in here, like slashes. Okay, that should work. And then go down here, put that in. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are too. Now, if you guys like this type of stuff, building a nice, cool template like this, we're doing this every Monday afternoon, 4 p.m. EST to 6:30. And installs a problem. That's because we didn't go to a different screen and come back. There we go. It's working now. Okay. I want to go to a different field, like a text field here. Value, we'll paste that there, open it up, and the field. Oh, we do have Power Apps version twice. Why is that? We got internal. There's authoring version, then Power Apps versioning. Okay, so let me go see the support. Authoring version. Okay, this should be authoring. And this is version of Power Apps used, really. And then the Power Apps version up here is going to be the version Power Apps gives. Of course, it's too long. I'll say auto given, auto generated. Auto, well, it's still too long. I almost want to say PA. You think everybody would understand what PA means? Power apps? Auto version? Gee whiz. I don't know what to say here. Because I don't have a lot of space there. Okay. So this will be Power Apps version. And this one down here author. Yeah. I wish we would have called that author info. Internal version number, which would be R. Now, what's going on with this? There we go. Visible, no, value. Oh, I'm looking for this. Value. Wow, okay. That's interesting. Long description. Shoo. All right. Now, if I run this, we have plenty of room down here. Now, I don't like this space. So I sort of want, what am I selecting there? Something's off. Something's afoot. Check the fields in the source data and name it similarly. Yeah. Oh, looks like my video camera is doing something weird there. It usually freezes when I have a weird face. Okay. I don't know. I don't think my video is going to work. So I am going to just do the screen for now. Okay. We got this label. What is going on? It's like there's some phantom stuff in here. I need to start labeling these controls. Okay, so this one. So I think I should back out and come back in. Something's really weird. And while it's coming up, I'm going to try to change camera real quick. Try to figure out that issue. There I am. Cool. You guys got me back. Yeah. Just click on the item you want to edit from the tree view on the left. PX sometimes does funky things and the screen is scrollable. Thank you for that. Very good. It's good to know. Okay, this is looking good. And if I hit run, I want this to take up the full height. I don't like empty space like that. So I'm going to click on this down here. Okay. So this last one contains a label that says long description. All right. So I'm going to say LBL long description label. And then we'll do a TXT long description. And for the container, I use CNT, and I'm going to say long description field. Okay, so I'm going to click on that guy right there and look at the height. Now the height, parent.height, self.y. Do we have an auto height on this guy? Flexible height. All right, let's try that one out. Beautiful, guys, beautiful. And of course, this has the same information. So now that we have that, all right, I'm excited that we stuck with this, guys. I want to patch it. Let's do a patch. Okay, I'll take that out. The record. Well, that's going to be LOC. What is our data type? Well, we haven't connected to the data source yet, but we do have an on-visible. We got the source. Now, what I hear about the form control, it does not work with collections. Okay. I'm going to take all that out. And I'm going to go find this guy. Reason for change. Okay. So what do we want to put in the title? We want to say maybe the reason for the change, and I think I might do something like, see, short description. Did we name it right? Short description? Nope. Let's go grab that. Go back in here. And put on there a date timestamp of, let's say now, date value. Let's just use text. And I'm going to go get some of my code over here. That type of thing. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, well, I still have an error down here. So before we test it, we need to resolve all these errors. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be there. So this is our data source. We're not using a collection. And what I hate about globals, if you use clear collect, you're going to create a global variable. Now, as your application, hopefully you guys don't hear this. My autistic son is trying to break down the door. Okay. I forgot what I was saying now. Oh yeah. Let's say you got a clear collect all over the place and you got like 20 screens, you got all kinds of different data sources, and you just got all these collections all over the place, but you use local variables. It's all self-contained within that screen. So in my opinion, that's the better way of doing it. One moment, guys. Ezra, stop. Cole, can you help me out? Okay. He's upset. Okay, so we're back. So this is our data source. This is telling us if it's a new record or it's an existing record. Now this thing should probably set up to be false as soon as we come in. The record false. There we go. So that's a Boolean. This is the data source if it's a new one. If it's an existing record, we're going to look at that one. I think instead of referring to the LOC record, we should be referencing this gallery. This gallery is data. I'm going to say data listing to be generic. Oh, I can't do that. I'm already using it somewhere. Gal data source listing. We'll grab that. Dot selected. Because I don't know in the select event, did we actually put, yeah, we should be putting LOC record, this item in there. Now, why don't we just use LOC record instead of the gallery.selected? Well, because the first time the user comes into the screen, they're not necessarily going to click on the gallery, which would initialize that. So you can't rely on that. Okay, I'm going to go in here. And what we're doing is we are changing the title based on the short description. So let's go into the short description. Cool. Hit save. Data source applied to the function is invalid. Isn't that interesting? Well, I think that's unfortunate. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to research that and see if I can get around that somehow. Otherwise, we'll have to do a clear collect, which I really don't want to do, but we're going to call this thing for the moment. If it was a real collection, it would be COL. And then we're going to take all of this, copy, and we'll put it right there. And now we're going to have to comment out this top, update context. Okay, that should set us up. I'm going to go to a different screen and come back. Everything should be good. Now, you notice that our image appeared again. Why did that happen? So we have the ICO record item. And then we got this image here. It's visible, not ICO visible. Is that not wild or what? Why are both of them there? Yeah, this is visible. And this thing should not be visible. Okay, I'm going to do something weird here that I never do, which is say visible equals false. I'm really sad I had to do that, but now this little icon has 15 padding around it, which looks nice. Now this guy over here needs that. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to try this. Small change. Cool. Save. Look at that. We got the cool in there. All right. Now, why did I go through all the trouble of doing this without a data source? Because if I pointed at a SharePoint list and I sent you guys this template, you'd be like, everything's busted, nothing works. So whenever you open it up, I want everything to work properly. And then down in the screen below for the developer I'm sending it to, they'll have instructions of how to set it up. Now, I guess I could create a solution package that would have Power Automate flows that would create everything for you. So maybe I'll look into that. That would be nicer, I guess. And when I add a data source, it is creating an environment variable for me. Now, if we go back up here, let's put Rich. Come on. Text editor. We're trying all kinds of things today. Okay, so what I would say here, I don't even want to do that. Rich text editors do some weird things sometimes. In my ticketing system, I use a rich text editor for people to put some descriptions, and the thing would not appear. It would take like a second to appear, so I had to put something behind it that looked like a rich text editor. I'm going to go with a classic text input, and I'm going to tell the future developer what's up in here by making it multi-line. Give me a top of 15. There we go. And what we'll say in here. Come on, I'm gonna hit F5. There we go. The width. I want that to be the same width here. And what's the height on this? The height is gonna do something like that. Same thing for this one. I'm gonna put some good documentation in here to implement this feature. Well, the features are the implement the data for this feature. Create a table or SharePoint persistent data source called okay, I want to make sure that I copy that in there because I don't want to lose it. I'll have to type that up again. Click on it, go in there, paste, very good. And I'm going to go over to this guy right here. It's right beside this one. That's nice. So I'm going to go into advanced. I'm going to go to on visible. Data source. Trying to think of the best way to do this. I guess it really doesn't matter. What do we call it over in SharePoint there? We called it We never added it. So, oh, no, I clicked on the wrong thing. There's a Dataverse table called SharePoint sites, and that interesting. Ultimate Power Apps template. That's the one. The list is called temp versioning info. I mean, they could call it whatever they want. I'm going to bring that in. Environment variables will be automatically generated to store information about this data source. Use existing variable. Sure. All right. And I'm going to take out SharePoint sites. Although I'm sort of curious what's in there. Let's see what's in there. Does it automatically populate? That's a little sad. Okay. Away with you. Okay. So really they could call it whatever. And if I click on that, I need the name of it right there. Oh, wow. SharePoint is really stepping it up. We can do all kinds of cool stuff there. Okay. I'm going to go into this one. Go back to the screens. And we call it anything you want. You may want to call it that. But most importantly, you need to do a search and replace on replaced and the screens on visible collection name used there. Also, take out the clear collect function. And that's what I'd recommend. Boom, copy that. Go back in there and we will go to the default, Control A, Control V. There we go. That's saved. Now, is that right on or not? My camera's cutting off my forehead. Oh well. Let's make this a little smaller too. Okay, so in order to do this, we'll go to this screen. And we'll follow the instructions that I just provided. So we'll go to the on visible. And instead of doing a clear collect, look at what I'm going to do here. I'm going to bring back this guy. It probably still won't allow me. I'm going to try it though. I'm going to filter this thing. Let's say true for now. Okay. Do you see how we're causing a problem here? So we comment that out. Okay, now if I click on something else and I come back, we got an error here, so let's fix that. We don't have a text. Well, you know what? There's nothing in there. Okay. So do we want to give it one piece of information, or you know what I'll do? This can be snazzy. New record? Count rows on this. If it's 0, then it's going to be a new record. But of course, we need to go to a different screen and come back. And why is it only this one? New record? It's a Boolean, but there's an error. Of course, there's an error. Data source listing selected .author. So if I said, oh, it's author info. Let's make sure that we have that correct in here. There. Save. We need to go back to this other screen and go in here and say, change that right there. I need to click in there and say copy. Click on it again. Go in there. Okay, we should be good. So if I go back over here, everything should be good. We have no records. So this is going to be new. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, new feature. Short description is the first record. Will you just let me create one now? Today's date, PA version, it probably 122 at this point. Maybe. No, I haven't done any publish, so it's 121. Authoring information, so Darren Nice, and we got support at superpowerlabs.co. Internal version number. I almost want that to be automatically populated there. Okay, we'll do a text and we'll say now. And we'll say year, month, day, hour, minute. Cool. That's already in there. Nope. Should be the same version as that. A long description. Description for this. Hit save. Come on, what's going on now? Did it do it? Yeah. Man, it didn't do anything else though. Oh, you know what? I only did that. We only did that one. Okay, let's get this done, guys. Oh my goodness, I hate that. So annoying. I usually like to patch columns in the order that they are displayed on the screen. I don't know if every developer does that, but it makes sense to me. Reason for change, txt, reason for change, dot value, comma. The next thing, if I can get this thing to stop popping up, short description, txt short description dot value. Click off, click on, enter. Data deployment is going to be dat. Nope. Dat deploy. PA version. TXT PA version. Power apps. No. Now the author information. Let me guess, we didn't name it right. Internal version number. Escape will make the window that is annoying disappear without having to click around the screen. Okay, so I'm going to try that because I'm going to show you what happens when I do it because I believe I've tried it. Okay, there's author info. Now, did I name this one right? Nope. TXT. So I got that. So I got internal info. Okay, now, so watch what happens when I hit the comma. We get that, right? So if I hit escape, what happens? Where's my cursor? I can't start typing right now. That's why I don't use escape. Oh, I hate it. So they made that change somewhat recently. And when I say recently, maybe a month ago. And then they changed it back, and then they changed it back again. And it drives me crazy. It makes me want to do the coding in VS Code or something. Author info. But I don't have my designer if I do that. Okay. Authoring version. Now, what I found to be the best thing to do in this situation is you just go on to the next thing. So I did the authoring version. So now let's do long description. TXT long description dot value. And then once that's done, then you click there, then you hit escape. That's what I typically have to do. All right. Okay, so I'm going to click on the gallery. It looks like the record's not there anymore. That's weird. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to come back. There's the record. Now I'm selecting it. Why isn't it showing up here? Try hitting space bar after escape. Okay, I can try that. I'm going to make this text a little smaller. I'd sort of like it to not have to wrap, but okay. So in this case, new record, it says false. So if that's false, it should be getting that reason for change. And it's blank. Oh, you know what? Because the value, okay, so I'm gonna, if I go over to the data source, it's probably like that. Yeah, that patch didn't really go for some reason. Okay. My new change. Short description. Oh, make it today. v1, Darren v2, well, 4.0629, authoring version 3.3.24, long description, save, cross your fingers, hopefully it works. Now we'll do a new, and we'll say row 2. And I'm going to say row 2, short description. This will be in the future, 122, author version, John, and we're going to say, oh, it already put that in there for me. Very good. 3.2, long, really long description. How long? Really long. So much we've got a scroll bar. Oh, really? Looks like we have some other type of bug. Now, look, we got the 2. Okay. So what I need to do is if we want to work with the collection, so we got the data source going off this local. Now, if we had done a search and replace like I told myself to do, let's see exactly what I said, because I don't think I followed my own description here. What is it? Create a persistent data source. Call anything you want. You may want to call it temp version info. But most importantly, you need to do a search and replace for screen non-visible collection name. There you go. I should have done that. So, and the real name of it is that. Okay. The thing is, I'm going to have to change it all back so I can allow this, you guys to have this, this version here. Okay. So I'm going to go here, and it feels like this screen should be before that one for some reason. And see how it comes up just fine now? Because it did a refresh. So if I did, if you wanted to keep that, what you have to do is copy that, go to the save, go down here, and do that. Cut that. I don't like, okay, so here it is. Here it is, Dustin. Escape space. You did it. Very good. Now, Dustin, I'm putting you on the payroll, man. Shoo. I like it. Very cool. Paste there. Get rid of this update context here. In fact, we could take that filter out. We don't need a filter in there. But the thing is, if you got tons and tons of versions, you might have more than 500 versions after a while. Probably not. Hopefully you guys can get a good, solid, robust program out there before you have 500 iterations. So there we go. Okay. Now, can you guys help me with this? This thing should be taking up more space, but it's not. So let's go look at the height of that is 80. And you look at this thing should look the same height as these individual items. These individual items are 70. So I go up here. This thing right here should be 70, and it's not, it's 40. Let's see if I can reference that gallery. And here, then here. Template. Template height. Yeah. Can I do that? No, it doesn't like it. Oh, you know what? It's got all of that other stuff in there. Okay, so what we have is this container. That container is 60. Parent dot height, blah, blah, blah. So this thing needs to be 60. I don't like to put literal values in there, but let's see what this looks like. Okay. That looks about right, but now it's evident that this container needs to have a left padding of an additional 10 for it to look right. Okay, but we got some weird shadow going on there. The shadow knows. Have you guys ever seen that movie? Alec Baldwin, like 50 years ago. The Shadow. Okay, so I'm going to click around. Now the I think I like it, guys. What do you guys think? The bottom padding is set to 0. The bottom, okay. Of what control? Is that trying to get to it here. Bottom padding is 0 for oh. Ugh. Now it looks like the height of this thing is 60 and the height of this is 60. Okay. This gallery right here, I almost want there to be an additional gap there. Okay. I like it. I hope that you guys like it. All right, so the parent container around the app version history that caused it to overflow off the bottom. The parent container around the app version history. The app version history. Oh, app version history. Okay. The parent container that caused it to overflow at the bottom. Container around that. Okay. So this one right here. That causes overflow in the bottom. So it's 60. Oh, I fixed it. Okay, cool. Fantastic. You guys, what I think the burning question in your mind right now is what video should you watch next, right? So you're going to like this video next. Let's see if they're right. Or you can select this playlist, which I've selected for you based on the content you're currently watching. Guys, gotta hurry. Click one of them. Otherwise, YouTube